the future, Bluey is going to have a daughter, and that also means she's going to have a husband. But do you know who we're talking about? The creator. The first thing you need to know about this topic is that the creator of the series, Joe Brumm, has already said that Bluey's daughter has characteristics from two characters, McKenzie and Jean-Luc. That means there are only two puppies who could be the future husband of the main character. But is that really the case? We'll explain that in a moment, but for now, what you need to know is that at the end of the episode Surprise from season 3, Bluey's daughter is using the same toy she used years earlier. And yes, that opens the door for theories. We said that Joe Brumm confirmed the characters who could be the parents of the pup. He said this in an interview for a podcast called Gotta Be Done. But there's a problem. Is that actually true? What we can be sure of is that in Bluey's world there are many clues about what the future will look like. But besides that, there are also some traps. Some theories seem like they're right, but in the end, they're proven to be false. And because of that, many people think Joe Brumm was just joking to mislead fans. Are there other possible candidates for the main character's future husband? Let's find out right now. You already know, right? Another Cinewave is starting. McKenzie. Let's be honest, Bluey's future husband will definitely be McKenzie. The first piece of evidence happens in the episode Fruit Bat from season 1, when Bluey is dreaming and she passes through the border collie's window. The most important clue in that scene is that Bluey is dreaming about things she really wants. In that story, the little pup goes through different scenarios while she flies. She sees her dad playing rugby because that's what Bandit wants, and Bluey is flying because that's what she wants, plus staying up late like a bat, of course. And McKenzie only appears in the Wish dream because Bluey has an interest in him. Now, in the episode Barks and Boats, the whole story is about the beginning of romantic love between Mia and Captain, and the ones learning about that are Bluey and McKenzie, and it's no coincidence that those two characters were the ones learning about it. Also, let's remember that Bluey's daughter, who we'll call Roxy, has traits from McKenzie. She looks a lot like a border heeler, which is a mix between Bluey's and McKenzie's breeds. The chances of him being Bluey's husband are very high. Jean-Luc. Another character who makes a huge difference in this story is Jean-Luc. He's a character who only appeared in a single episode in season 1. More than 100 episodes came after that, and he wasn't even mentioned again. But even so, many people still dream of seeing him with Bluey. Let's be honest, the Canadian Labrador has a strong chance of being Bluey's husband, and one of the reasons is very simple. We've already seen the two of them together in the future, unlike everyone else. First, let's remember that on Bluey's official website, it says Jean-Luc learned English just to be able to talk to Bluey. That's very romantic. Second, let's also remember that they planted a tree together and met again in the same place years later. That's also super romantic, and when that happens, they're old enough to be in love. Another very important detail is that Bluey's daughter has traits from Jean-Luc. That's also a confirmed fact by Joe Brumm during the interview for the podcast Gotta Be Done. Not to mention that even though Jean-Luc only appears in a single episode, fans still want to see him close to Bluey. He definitely has a strong chance. Two dads. Wow, but have you ever thought that actually Roxy, who is Bluey's daughter, could really have two dads? Joe Brumm himself said that he asked the show's animators to include traits from two characters in the pup. That makes us think that maybe Bluey chose two dogs to be the parents of her daughter. In this case, we'd be talking about some kind of super advanced technology that allows someone to be, at the same time, the daughter of McKenzie and Jean-Luc, something that doesn't exist in the real world. But don't forget, this is a cartoon about dogs who talk and walk on two legs, so don't expect too much realism. Do you believe in that possibility? Do you prefer McKenzie or Jean-Luc? Comment the hashtag Bluey so we can get to know you. Lucky. Do you know Lucky, the yellow lab who is Bluey's neighbor? What if he were the future husband of our main character? Do you doubt that could happen? Then let's think about it. Well, to start, Bluey spends more time around Lucky than any other friend. The two of them are neighbors. Lucky might not study at Calypso's school like McKenzie, but let's be honest, okay? Pat isn't called Lucky's dad for no reason. The truth is, everyone calls Pat Lucky's dad because Lucky is very well known. He's a super popular dog in Bluey's neighborhood. That means this lab definitely draws people's attention and probably catches Bluey's attention too. Nothing stops Bluey and Lucky's friendship from turning into something more special in the future. Not to mention that Lucky plays Bandit's favorite sport, which is already a reason for Mr. Healer to support him. What do you think about that? Rusty. Alright, maybe now we're exaggerating by saying Rusty will be Bluey's husband, but there is a chance this could happen because of how the Blue Pup series was created. You probably know that the creators originally planned for Rusty to be the main character. That's why he and Bluey are so similar. If you put them side by side, you'll notice they're almost identical, only changing the color and pattern of their spots. Now, that idea didn't work out, but even so, the plan might have continued into something that will happen in the future. Let's also remember that Rusty's name was going to be McKenzie. That's right, Right, at least that's what appeared in the unaired pilot episode. Now think about how Bluey works. It's about two puppy sisters exploring the world and playing with their dad, who is Bandit. That could continue in the future, but this time with Rusty as Roxy's dad. That makes perfect sense because this way the red Kelpie would get the spotlight the creators always wanted for him. So do you agree with this idea? Toffee. For some time now, there's been a pretty interesting rumor going around about a possible future character who might join the series in season 4. His name would be Toffee, and he would be a caramel-colored puppy. He would transfer into Bluey's school from another city and quickly become close to the main character. Just like Bluey, Toffee would be very good at creating games and would love exploring nature. The arrival of this new character, if he is actually confirmed, could change the way fans think about Bluey's future. That's because there's still a chance of a time jump happening in Bluey's universe where she would already be older, and everyone knows that almost no one ends up marrying their first love. Frisky and Bosco, who used to date, can confirm that. Could it be that Bluey's future husband is a character no one even knows yet? Blue Healer. Still following this idea, let's present another possibility. Nothing is stopping Bluey's future husband from being another dog of her same breed. We're saying this because most of the characters follow that pattern. Bandit and Chili are the same breed and only differ in color. The same thing happens with Bluey's friends. Chloe's parents are Dalmatians, Mackenzie's parents are Border Collies, and this pattern repeats with many other characters. In fact, one of the only examples that doesn't follow this pattern is Missy, Bingo's friend. Missy is an Australian Terrier, while her mom is a German Spitz. What we're trying to explain is that, in most cases, puppies are born from parents of the same breed. Because of that, it's much more likely that Bluey meets a dog who is a blue healer or a red healer and ends up marrying him. Would you accept that, or do you prefer a character we already know?
There's a new video here every day, so subscribe and hit the bell to stay up to date.
Single. Now let's talk about the least accepted theory among fans. The one where Bluey doesn't end up with any husband at all. Let's remember that the version of Bluey who appears at the end of season 3 shows up at her parents' house without her husband. And yes, that doesn't necessarily mean much, but who said that having a child means you have to be married? There are two characters in the series who don't follow that rule. Winton, who is Cornelius's son, his parents are separated, and also Judo, who is Wendy's daughter. Her dad doesn't live with her. Bluey could very well marry someone, have a child with him, the relationship might not work out, and they could separate. In that case, Roxy would have two homes, just like Winton. And on the day Bluey went to visit her parents, it would be the day Roxy was staying with her mom. Could that really happen? It sounds a little less exciting. What do you think? Winton. Speaking of Winton, can you picture him with Bluey? No? Then let's see how that could actually work. The truth is, Winton is one of the few characters who might have a real chance of winning Bluey over. Don't you agree? Winton is Cornelius's son, and this bulldog is one of the most romantic dogs in the show. Seriously, he's very good with the ladies. Because of that, Winton may have inherited his dad's talent. Cornelius has already appeared with a girlfriend in the show, and even won over the heart of the Terrier's mom. Let's be honest, Winton might seem like a shy little pup right now, but what's stopping him from growing up and becoming someone that girls really like? It seems like it runs in his blood, don't you think? Terrier. And of course, we can also imagine that Bluey might marry one of the Terrier triplet brothers. This theory isn't very popular, and that's okay, but Bluey actually matches the Terrier's energy pretty well, don't you think? They're messy and come up with super wild games just like Bluey. Our main character's energy fits really well with the brothers. We just don't know which one she would end up with. Do you think something like that could happen? It would be interesting, that's true. Bluey would have a husband as fun as Bandit, but at the same time, this theory is a bit weak because we don't know the Terrier brothers that well. We don't even know their names. Do you agree? Poodle. Still talking about more unusual theories, let's mention another one we found online recently. Bluey could marry one of Coco's brothers. Bluey's poodle friend has several brothers, and since the two families are very close, the main character could marry one of Coco's brothers, right? No, wrong. The truth is that Bluey's poodle friend only has 3 brothers, all of them a few years older than Coco, which makes it a bit hard to believe that our main character would marry someone that much older. Not to mention that Bluey's daughter doesn't look anything like a poodle, or even a bulldog in Winton's case. Because of that, the theories are really fun, but it's much more accurate to think that Bluey's future husband will be either McKenzie or Jean-Luc. We'll find out which one it is in the new episodes, but until then, stick with us.
We've left 2 videos on your screen so you can choose and keep having fun with us. See you in the next video.